Caitlin Clark's arrival in the WNBA was eagerly awaited by both fans and experts as the brightest star of college basketball. Now shines a new light on the women's professional league. However, it seems the league's veterans didn't get the memo, greeting Clark with a mix of tough defense, dismissive quotes, and outright taunting. While this kind of treatment is typical for rookies stepping into the big leagues, with Clark, everything has been heightened, leading to an unprecedented level of trash talk. However, her rivals are quickly learning that poking the bear might not be the best idea. Increasingly, those who have dared to disrespect her find themselves on the wrong end of a revenge game. Each deep three-pointer Clark drains over a rival who previously insulted her sends a clear message to any future challengers: she's not one to mess with. This is a clear indication of a superstar in the making, particularly when you consider how quickly Clark has adapted to a new style of basketball and a much tougher level of competition. While almost everyone agrees that she has the talent to excel at the highest level, her toughness and ability to handle physicality have been questioned both by the media and her opponents. Early in her rookie year, Clark became a prime target for WNBA players seeking attention, and the treatment persisted even as her performance noticeably improved and she began putting up historic numbers. To her credit, Clark never seemed fazed, always maintained her composure when discussing opponents, and began standing her ground when bigger, more experienced players tried to push her around. The list of Caitlin Clark's haters includes players of different profiles, ranging from fellow rookies to aging superstars. Apparently, many WNBA players think they are better than Clark, but are unable to back up their rude words and actions when it counts the most. A common theme is appearing. Trash-talking a player as talented and competitive as Caitlin Clark is highly likely to bring out the natural-born scorer in her. One instance of bad behavior backfiring involved Dana Evans of the Chicago Sky, a fiery guard who makes up for a lack of size by competing very hard and never giving up on the play. When her team faced Clark and the Indiana Fever in a WNBA regular season game, the diminutive point guard, standing at just 5 feet 6 inches, felt the need to show the rookie that no easy points are given in the pro league. That's what any competitor would try to do, but unfortunately Evans crossed the line between playing tough defense and engaging in a street fight. Just take a look at this collision that caused a lot of heated emotions among players from both teams. As Caitlin drove around her and approached the basket, Dana Evans locked elbows with the rookie and basically crashed her into a waiting defender, the stout Chindi Carter. More about her in a minute. The result was a human sandwich, where Clark was literally smashed by both opponents and was lucky to avoid serious injury. That wasn't all, as some choice words were said that the microphones didn't pick up. This highly emotional flare-up might have shaken up the confidence of a lesser player, but for Clark, it merely provided extra motivation to get back at her tormentor by scoring at will. What followed in the minutes after the foul was nothing short of poetic justice: swish, swish, and swish. It's clear that Clark is not easily intimidated and is more than willing to endure some physical pain to prove her worth as a basketball player. Instead of looking for payback in the form of a physical altercation, she simply took control of the game and reminded everyone why she is one of the most feared players with the ball in her hands. The Chicago Sky wanted to bait her into losing her cool, but ended up losing the game in part due to ill-advised fouls on Clark. WNBA players are not chirping at Caitlin Clark only after they get frustrated with her offensive feats. They are frequently objecting to her defensive plays too. Despite criticizing her for being soft and unprepared for physical contact, Clark also gets heat when she starts applying the same kind of physicality that she is routinely subjected to. One situation where that was abundantly clear was her run-in with Kalia Copper, a high-scoring wing playing for the Phoenix Mercury. After her drive to the basket was stopped by a foul committed by Clark, Copper immediately started talking trash and attempted to get in Clark's face. While the situation never deteriorated to the level that would endanger the players, it serves as a good example of the double standards that Caitlin has to live with every night. The video clearly shows what happened, although unfortunately we don't have a transcript of what was said in the heat of the moment. Any basketball coach would tell you that when you need to commit a foul, you should make sure the opponent doesn't score, and that's really all that Caitlin Clark did on that play. Apparently, Kalia Copper didn't think so and considered the contact to be excessive to the point of being dirty. Her reaction was quite forceful, and she needed to be separated from Clark, who remained cool and merely retorted, "It was just a foul," before walking away to avoid further conflict. While we can't really judge what was on Kappa's mind when she reacted to the foul, it's fair to ask whether the identity of her opponent played a role and whether she would have started talking so aggressively had someone else fouled her in the same manner. Caitlin decided to let her game do the talking. Despite all the provocations, she refused to change her approach and played a steady game that greatly contributed to another Fever victory in front of the home fans. The score remained close well into the final quarter, but Clark and her teammates never let the Mercury mount a comeback. When it was time to seal the deal, Caitlin skillfully navigated through a bunch of double teams and unselfishly passed the ball to open teammates rather than try and be a hero and win all by herself. Her final assist of the night was truly a thing of beauty. She was literally toying with the defense and had full awareness of where everyone was on the court and who would get open if she attacked the basket. It's somewhat surprising that some of the biggest trash talkers against Caitlin Clark are veteran players who should know better but nevertheless get caught in the moment and display poor sportsmanship. Las Vegas Aces guard Alicia Clark falls into this category. The three-time WNBA champion, three-time Israeli League champion, and reigning sixth woman of the year in the WNBA, at the mature age of 37, she has no business dishing out cheap shots to rookies. But during a match against the Indiana Fever, she was so concerned about Caitlin Clark scoring on her that she simply whacked her on the head. The video presents her in a really bad light. Not only did Alicia Clark commit a type of foul that shouldn't be part of the game at all, but after being called for it, she ran away in a fit of rage as if to imply that she had blocked the shot cleanly. That's total nonsense. You can literally see Caitlin's head bob back and forth after the impact. So Alicia had to be aware that she made contact. Acting all surprised and angry about the ref's call feels totally disingenuous and, honestly, is more befitting of a rookie than a seasoned veteran with a ton of hardware in her trophy case. Again, it's hard to believe she would have behaved like that had any other player been the victim of her irresponsible foul. But since there is an underlying animosity against Caitlin Clark across the league, she couldn't just raise her hand and apologize after the fact. Since somebody had to act as an adult in this situation, Caitlin Clark took that responsibility upon herself. As seen in the previous clip, she simply made sure her eye was okay, and then went into a huddle to prepare for the continuation of play. No drama, no chasing Alicia Clark around the court, no pretending to be street tough. She took the foul in stride and went straight back to playing basketball. If anything, the foul served only to wake her up and help sharpen her focus. She was not having the best game before she was hit, but afterward, she picked up the pace and started putting the ball into the basket with much improved efficiency.